So it is 5.18. vidyā-vinaya-sampanne brāhmaṇe gavi hastini śuni caiva śva-pāke paṇḍitāḥ sama-darśinaḥ. So Priya, can you read the verse, please?
Okay. vidyā-vinaya-sampanne brāhmaṇe gavi hastini śrūni caiva śva-pāke ca paṇḍitāḥ sama-darśinaḥ.
Yep. So can you read the translation?
Translation: Vidya with education, Vinaya and gentleness, Sampanne fully equipped, Brahmane in the Brahmana, Gavi in the cow, Hastini in the elephant, Suni in the dog, Cha and Eva certainly, śva-pāke in the dog eater, the outcast, Cha respectively, paṇḍitāḥ those who are wise, sama-darśinaḥ who see with equal vision.
Okay, very good. Can you also read the translation, the bold
Uh,
part,
The
English?
humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision, or learned and gentle brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater outcast.
Yep, perfect. All right. So, vidyā-vinaya-sampanne brāhmaṇe gavi hastini. Vidyā-vinaya-sampanne. So, in this verse, Krishna is trying to explain to us what is a knowledgeable person who is virtuous. What in his vision, how does he see everybody? So, Vidya means a person who's educated. Vinaya means somebody who's very gentle. So, gently educated, fully equipped. Who? Pandita. Pandita is who? Those who are wise. Sama-darśina. Sama-darśina who see with equal vision. So people who are truly in knowledge. Pandita means people who are in true knowledge. We see in today's times, we think person who's in knowledge is usually somebody who holds many degrees and lot of academic material qualifications. But in reality, those are not qualifications, because you need to have certain characteristics also. Simply by seeing material qualifications or academic certificates, that's not enough. Like seeing character, at least in Vedic times, people used to see character, and then they used to see the knowledge that is imparting. Not that any fool can just get some degree and then start acting like he's very scholarly. Your character, your nature, your swabhav needs to be very important. So that's why it says vinaya. Vinaya means what? Gentleness. So somebody who's with education and gentleness. And in today's times, we think that anybody with too many certificates is a very educated person, but they will completely neglect the part on character. And because of that, we see so many fraudulent teachers and so many people who are immoral. They start teaching, and then if their character is only immoral, what can they really teach? So I knew in one school, there was a physics teacher, very academically successful, lot of degrees, lot of certifications, everything like that. But he was teaching for some time, and then a few months later, we saw that he was removed from the school. And we came to know that he had actually molested one person who used to come for his tuitions. And he was a very well educated person. He had a lot of degrees and everything like that. Yet you see the character was so degraded. He had to actually flee the country because the law enforcement were behind him. So we see that how characteristics should be emphasized more than just simple pieces of paper and certifications. So that is what it's saying. Vidyā-vinaya-sampanne brāhmi gavi hastini śuni caiva śva-pāke paṇḍitāḥ sama-darśinaḥ. Okay, so I'll read the purport since everybody is either working or driving or is busy. So I'll just quickly read the purport and then I'll go on to explain. So Krishna conscious person does not make any distinction between species and caste. Or actually, Priya, are you still able to read, or are you about to leave?
I can read the purpose.
You
Yeah.
can read.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you read from let's see, entities. Hare Krishna, Priya.
entities.
I've highlighted on
Entities.
yeah.
Okay. Circumstances of the living. Okay. A Krishna conscious person does not make any distinction between species or caste. The Brahmana and the outcast may be different from the social point of view, or a dog, a cow, and an elephant may be different from the point of view of species. But these differences of body are meaningless from the viewpoint of a learned transcendentalist. This is due to their relationship to the Supreme for the Supreme Lord. By his plenary portion as Paramatma is present in everyone's heart. Such an understanding of the Supreme is real knowledge. As far as the bodies are concerned, in different caste or different species of life, the Lord is equally kind to everyone because he treats every living being as a friend. It maintains himself as Paramatma regardless of the circumstances of the living entities. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So everyone is the child of God. Krishna says himself, Aham bija pradapita. If somebody sees Bhagavad Gita chapter 14.4, I'll just open it on my screen as well. So if you see over here, Krishna is confirming this fact. Sarva yoneshu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahad yonir aham bija pradapita. Aham bija pradapita. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material father, and that I am the seed giving father. So Krishna is confirming that he is actually the father of all living entities, of all living species. Aham bija pradapita. And we have forgotten that we are the sons of God, and then hence we are fighting, because we see distinction between nationalities. We see that this person is Nepali, this person is American, this person is Australian, this person is Indian. We start making distinctions. We make distinctions between race. This person is black, this person is white. Even in India, if we see that this person is Indian, in India there are so many divisions. Oh, this person is Marathi, this person is Gujarati, this person is Bengali. So there are so many distinctions that we make. Why? Because we have actually forgotten that we are the children of God, and we forget that we are actually not this body. We are actually soul, spiritual entities. Living beings are actually spiritual entities. We have just taken this covering of the body, but that does not mean we are this body. So it is said that a learned person, a person who's in real knowledge, will see brahmana, a gavi is a cow, hastini is an elephant, suni is a dog, and caiva is śva-pāke is a outcast, a dog eater. So the reason they have given this particular examples also very profound, because a Brahmin is one who's highest class of society. Brahmin is supposed to be the best, highest, most intelligent person in society, and complete opposite to that is śva-pāke, an outcast, a person who eats dog. Even we see today's times, like for example in Muslim community, a person who eats pig is said to be haram. So person who eats pig is supposed to be a lower inbred. They say, oh, this guy is a very low person, shallow person. Why? Because he eats pig. So dog eater is supposed to be anybody who eats meat in general is looked down upon. Out of that, a person who eats dog meat is like considered to be the worst person. So that is why it said brahmana śva-pāke. Now, if you see, it's also given gavi, hastini, suni. So gavi means a cow, hastini means elephant, and suni means a dog. Now, the reason they've given these three examples is because if anybody was there when for the three modes of material nature class, there was Aditri. Can you respond, or are you able to talk at least, or you have to keep the camera and audio both off?
I can talk.
Yeah. So do you remember the three modes of material nature?
Like Satvik, Rajvik, and Tamsik.
Very good. Yep. So Satvik, Rajik, and Tamsik. So can you just in one word say what is Satvik, what is Tamsik, what is Rajik, Rajik?
like sattvic as in people who are in mood of goodness,
Yep.
and in rajasic as being like in mood of passion,
Mhm.
and tamasic as in mood of ignorance.
Very good. So this is the mode of material nature. So we spiritual entities, when we come in mode of material nature, based on our karma, based on our actions, we take a particular type of body. And there are three modes of material nature, like Aditri said, sattvic, tamasic, and rajasic. So even in human bodies, we'll see there are sattvic people, very good, learned people. Then there are rajasic people, very passionate, just always working, but without any main goal or achievement. They're just simply doing work for their own sense gratification. And tamasic people who are ignorance and in delusion. So out of these categories, even in animals, you'll see these categories exist. So gavi, a cow, is supposed to be sattvic or in the mode of goodness. A hastini is that's why people worship cow so much. People in especially in Hindu culture, we worship cow so much. Why? Because cow is said to be in mood of goodness. It's always giving to other people. It's giving milk. From milk you can make so many sorts of that. So cow is said to be like our mother because she's providing us with milk. The cow is very essential for human society. Hastini is an elephant. Hastini or elephant is usually seen in mode of passion. Why is that? Because like if you see in ancient times in Mahabharata also, any war they would use elephants for a war. Elephant is supposed to be in the mode of passion. Suni or dog is supposed to be mode of ignorance. Like you'll see if you see street dogs, I think in Nepal and India also you'll see they are always picking out of trash and urinating anywhere. Completely low quality of life. That is dog. So gavi, hastini, and suni. So these examples are given because they are like polar opposites. So even in this, a person who's really in real knowledge will be able to make out that they are actually living entities. He won't see them for being just a body. He will see them for their who they actually are. He will see that they are actually living entities or spirit souls who, because of their contact with material nature and the modes of material nature, rajas, sattvic, and tamasic, they have, and because of the karma, they've taken up a certain type of body. So if your karma is always very tamasic, you will get an animal type body. If you're very sattvic, you might get a human demigod. Like a lot of distinctions are given. So based on your actions, you get a particular type of body. But we must not forget the fact that if a person who's really God consciousness, who's in Krishna consciousness, he will see all of them to be equal. Like if you see, because why does he say everything to be equal? Because Krishna says aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarva pravartate. That means that I am the source of all creation, spiritual and matter. I am the source. He is also saying over here that aham bija pradapita, that I am the seed giving father. So for example, in a family, if the father owns a lot of property, it is to be known that his sons have right over the property. If his sons see that okay, my father is earning money, he's providing food, then there is no reason to fight amongst each other. We know that the father is going to provide, so the brothers won't fight, they will work in harmony to support the father. But in today's time, we have forgotten our relationship with our father, and because of that, we so many fights are happening. Because now we don't see each other as children of God, we see each other as Hindu, Muslim, black, white, Australian, American, Indian. So that is the problem. This is narrow consciousness, which is very pathetic. We completely reject this type of consciousness. We need to have God consciousness. God consciousness will see that everything belongs to God. And if everything belongs to God, everybody has equal right over God's property. It's not like that only you have right and other people don't have. Every animal, every insect, even birds, bees, even plants for that matter, have equal right over this earth that you have. Okay. So now you may ask that why do they have equal right? And if they have equal right, why do we see that human life is so different compared to a dog's life or a plant's life? And why is there so much distinction? If God is saying himself that I'm equal to all living entities, I equally love, then why is it that some people are getting more, some people are getting less? Well, we must see that actually God is equal to all of us, but he's responding or reciprocating towards us based on our qualification, based on what is appropriate for us. For example, I'll give you an easy example. If there is a mother and she has two children, one is in seventh grade, seventh standard, second is in third standard or third grade. And so will the mother say that, okay, both of you are equal in my eyes? So the third grade and the seventh grade both will get third grade books, both will get third standard books, you both read the same books? No, right? You have to give them the books that are equal to their level of knowledge. For example, there is a family where there are five children. One is 3 year old, one is 5 year old, one is 15 year old, one is 20 year old. Okay, so will the mother say that, oh, all of you are equal in my eyes, so all of you will now eat four chapatis? That is not possible, right? Some might be able to eat three chapatis, some might be able to eat one chapati, some may be able to eat five chapatis. So based on their qualification, based on what is appropriate for them, they reciprocate. So if you see, God is also saying, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavritah. That means that he is not visible to everybody. He's only visible to people who are performing devotional service. To see God also, you need to have some sort of qualification. So God is equal to all. It's like when sunlight falls, sunlight is falling everywhere. It's not like sunlight is falling in some places and some places it's not. It's just that if you put a blindfold on your thing, or you stand behind a barricade, then there will be a shadow. So if we are blocking ourselves, if we are in this barricade of ignorance, then we are not able to see God. And God's mercy is being equally distributed, just like sunlight is being equally distributed. But moment you become an obstruction in God's mercy, then you fall into darkness. So similarly, we fall into darkness, and in this darkness, we come into bodily conception of life. What is body conception of life? You think I am the body. All my happiness lies in satisfying my body. How can I eat, sleep, mate, and defend? How can I? And then when we come into this bodily conception of life, we see other people also in this bodily conception life. Oh, he's Australian. Oh, he's black. He's white. In today's time, we see so many cases like that. Why? Because society has forgotten that they're actually part and parcel of God. God is himself saying that everybody is actually I'm the seed giving father for every living being, but we don't see that. But a learned person, a Vaishnava, will see all of them equal. He will see a brāhmaṇe, a gavi, a cow, hastini elephant, śuni dog, and a dog eater, outcast, all of them equally. He will not keep any distinction. And that's why we say that a person who's in Krishna consciousness or God consciousness is very compassionate towards all living all living beings. He can actually do good for society. A person who says that, oh, I want to help benefit everybody in society, I care for everybody, but he's eating meat, then it's not actually justifying. He is being a hypocrite. He's saying something and doing something else. If you care about all living beings, that means you also have to include animals and plants in that. If we see in the Vedic civilization, the kings used to not only look after the people in their praja or their kingdom, they used to look after all living entities in their kingdom. They used to look after plants, they used to look after animals, they used to actually protect animals. They had people assigned to protect animals, gaurakshaks. So it was a very well based society based on the teachings of Bhagavad Gita and Vedas. So when this society was formed, it was for the welfare of all living entities. We should not sit here and make distinction that, oh, this animal is lower than me, this is that. I was listening to one of my Christian friends. I have nothing against Christian religion, and this is not even a religious debate, but he was saying that, oh, in the Bible it's written thou shall not kill. In the Bible it's written thou shall not kill. But then that same person, the same Christians, during Thanksgiving, they will cut a turkey and they will cook it and eat it, and actually celebrate eating a turkey. So said that if in the Bible it's given thou shall not kill, then why are you eating an animal? I mean, it's written, it's against your scriptures. He said, oh, animals don't have souls. Only human beings have souls. But we can see factually that's so incorrect, because and a lot of other beliefs also think that animals don't have soul. It's only human beings that have souls, and animals are just meant to unnecessarily cut and kill. Why? Because they're not in the equal level of human beings. But that's actually very wrong. If you see, if you actually try to harm an animal, like if you hit a dog, or if you, they'll actually give out signs of pain. They're actually feeling pain. And there was one scientist called Dr. Bose, and he discovered that when you actually get a scissor close to a plant, he was a he could read the radio frequency patterns that were emanating from the plant. He could actually see that when you brought a scissor or a knife close to a plant to with the intention of cutting it, the plant would actually give out signs of distress. They are just not able to communicate in your language, but they are also going through distress. They also have souls inside them. You could see how plants were reacting to these type of situations. Plants also communicate. It's just that we are unable to understand. And this entire logic of that animals and plants, they are not on the equal level of humans, so we should kill them, is so wrong. And I can give you an example of this. For example, I'm in Australia has certain rules and regulations, right? I can't do anything. I feel like I have to follow the rules and regulations of Australia. Now, for example, I see a homeless man on the street, and he cannot hear, he's blind, he cannot hear, he's begging for money. Should I just go and kill him and say that, oh, he is actually, he is no providing no benefit to the society, he's just that he's lower than us, so we should kill them? Is that correct? Will the state excuse me for that? Will they say that, oh, okay, we understand, and will they leave? No, I'll be equally punished, because the citizen, even though he's a homeless man and he on the physical level may not be on the equal thing, he might be going through some hardships, but essentially all of you are equally citizens of Australia. You are all subjugated to the rules and regulations of Australia. Similarly, we are all children of God, so we should not harm any living entity thinking that they're lower than us. We just, a real person, a person who's in real knowledge, will realize, oh, this actually is a soul that due to its actions and wrong doings, it has come into a different type of body, and we should actually try to help them, benefit them, rather than simply killing them and affecting them. That's why it's very important to build this compassion, and this compassion will only come when you realize and see everything as children of God, which is basically Krishna consciousness. So that is what it is. Now I will read a little bit ahead. So I think Priya read till entities. Okay. So the Lord as Paramatma is present in both outcast Brahmana and outcast and in the Brahmana, although the Brahmana and the outcast body is not the same. The bodies are material productions of different modes of material nature, but the soul and super soul are of the same spiritual quality. Now, what does this mean? If you see, according to our scriptures also, and we can see this practically also, this human body is made out of 5 elements. What is that? Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Ether can also be understood as space, empty space. So if we see, these 5 things are actually what are made, and these 5 elements in different manifestations come out as different bodies. But all these bodies have these 5 things. If we see even this human body, we eat food. What is that? Earth. Everything comes from the soil eventually. So even to sustain this body, you need to keep on feeding it with these 5 elements. Earth, water. If you don't drink water for more than 7 days, you will lose your life. I think not even 7 days, I'm not sure on what the exact time is, but yeah, definitely if you don't drink water for more than 7 days, you can forget about it, if you even make it to 7 days. Air, if you don't breathe for a certain period of time, you lose your life. Why? Because you need to maintain this body, you need to constantly feed it with these 5 elements. Every living entity, every living animal is and plant has got really is made out of these 5 elements. So this is just the material body. And like I discussed in the last class, the real identity of who we are is spirit soul. We are of part of God's superior energy. uh Abhishek, can you talk while driving, or are you unable to talk also?
Yes, yes, I can talk.
So last class, do you remember the 3 energies of God that we discussed?
Oh, yes.
Can you tell me really quick? Okay, Aditri, do you remember the 3 energies of the God? Hare Krishna, Aditri. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is Parasakti. Um, I think so. Is it?
No, it was very simple. It's interior, external,
Like
internal.
marginal,
Yeah,
marginal,
yes,
and one
correct,
of
correct,
the
correct. Yes,
material something.
yes. Correct. So material is God's external energy, spiritual is his superior energy or internal energy, and marginal is us, jivas. We are even though we are part of God's superior energy, due to our material contamination, association with matter, we have also taken a material body. So now we are stuck in between superior and inferior. So those are the three energies.
I
Now,
thought like Parasakti was called spiritual. I think I'm like Nepali Gita. That's why.
yeah, Parashakti is also known as the spiritual thing. I was just saying it easy for other people to also understand. But last class I had said it like this: internal, external, and marginal. So yeah, one second. So those are the three energies of the Lord. Now, the living entity, the soul is actually part of the spiritual energy of God, and the Paramatma. So if we see, we are actually the soul. We have taken up this material body made out of these five elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. And the soul is actually present in the heart. Krishna says that the soul is very small. It's like 1 millionth of a strand of hair. So if you take this hair, cut it million of times, and then you take that one strand and you cut it more millions of times, that is the size of the soul. It's so tiny that it basically cannot be seen. The soul exists in the heart. So that the soul is actually who we really are, who you really are, the consciousness that's experiencing this. And we are just taking sitting in this vehicle of a body. Okay. And with the soul there is also the Paramatma, which is the super soul, which is basically Krishna. Krishna expands himself in all these energies, and he also sits in your heart as Paramatma. And as Paramatma, he sanctions all your actions. So he is like a silent observer. He's silently watching your actions. Based on that, he's telling material energy or Maya to give you a particular type of body or particular type of situations. So if you are you start chanting and reading Gita and you're making a lot of spiritual progress, Krishna is seeing that, and naturally he will let Maya off you. He won't let Maya attack you. Then he will protect you from Maya. Krishna himself says that Devahi esha good mai mama maya duratyaya. So basically, he says that this material energy of mine is very difficult to overcome. But mam eva prapadyante maya metam tarantite. That one mam evam, one who prapadyante, one who worships me with devotion, maya metam tarantite, then he can easily cross this material energy, this maya, which is controlling us. So what is maya? Basically these three modes of material nature: mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. Abhishek, are you able to understand, or you have any doubts?
No, no, nothing for now.
Understood, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so the Paramatma is sitting in a heart. Now the Paramatma is a silent observer. He's saying that, oh, this guy is doing this. He's only living like an animal. He's not caring about other people. He's doing whatever he feel like. He's taking note of all of this. And in the next life, because everything needs the sanction of God. God is the supreme owner of everything. So for doing anything, you need the sanction of God. So God is saying that, okay, his actions are his actions are like this. So based on his karma, he needs to take this type of body. God gives a stamp. Okay, approved, give him a animal body, or approved, give him a good body, or approved, let me take him out of the cycle of birth and death. So God is giving his approval. Now when you are a devotee of the Lord, when you chant Hare Krishna, when you read Bhagavad Gita, which is basically why we're doing all of this. We're doing all of this because we are trying to remove our false identity, our false ego of I am Aditri, I am Abhishek, I am Ayush. These are all false egos and identities. Hare Krishna means what? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. What does it mean? That, oh Lord, oh Krishna, Krishna means God. Oh God, I am your eternal servant. That is the actual identity of us. Servant is not in a bad term. Servant means that just like in this hand, these fingers are supposed to support the hand to enable. If I want to pick up some bottle like this, then the finger need to support my hand to pick it up. Similarly, we are like the fingers of the God. We need to support and be part of God's plan. But the second you chop off this finger and I put it on the table, it's completely useless. It cannot do anything without the hand. And that's why if human beings also, we, since we wanted to be separate from God, we've come in this material world, this material world where we are separate from God. We are trying to falsely enjoy without God, and because of this we are suffering. We are completely useless because we are not in connection with God. The second you come in connection with God, you come back to your true essence. So chanting Hare Krishna is basically asking God to bring you back to your real identity, real self of who you are. Otherwise, we have taken up so many false identities. Oh, he is black, he is Chinese, oh, he is Indian, oh, he is Nepali, oh, he is Gujarati, oh, he is of this caste, this tribe, this, that. You'll see, even in human beings, there are so many distinctions. You can be of the same country, same city, even then there'll be distinctions. In reality, none of them are true. In reality, we are all children of God, all part and parcel of God, and our role in society is to support God, not to simply try to falsely enjoy. So that when we think like that, when we do these activities, reading Gita means what? It's actually giving us real knowledge. It makes us understand how a real, true, knowledgeable person is actually seeing the world. He's seeing the world as everybody equal to them. He's seeing a dog, an animal, plant, everybody as souls. So he's compassionate. When you see somebody as that, you won't mistreat them. You won't simply kill an animal. I've seen people, one boy in the garden, you know what he was doing? He bought a magnifying glass, and if you put magnifying glass under the sunlight, whatever comes under the magnifying glass, it will start catching fire. You can do it on paper and you'll see the paper will catch fire. You know what this rascal boy was doing? He was taking the magnifying glass and focusing it on an ant so that the ant can burn. This is what is called demoniac consciousness, fallen, pathetic consciousness, where you are, because why? This boy doesn't see difference between, he thinks that I am human being, this is just a puny ant I can kill. He's just a body, he's just an ant. But we don't realize that this is also a living soul. It's also feeling pain and pleasure, just like us. It's also God, and it's Paramatma, by the way. So if we see over here, I'll just continue and then I'll complete the story. The similarity in the quality of the, however, does not make them same in quantity, because individual soul is particular in one body, whereas Paramatma is in each and every body. So, like I said, the, so everybody, every animal, plant, everything you see, every human being you see, we should see them as soul. They are actually souls, but they're individual souls. But Paramatma is in everybody's heart. So we cannot even imagine how large Paramatma is. Paramatma is in your heart, my heart, the vegetable's heart, the animal's heart, the bee's heart, the bird's heart, everybody. Paramatma is also there. Paramatma is silent and simply observing. And Paramatma doesn't make distinction. Paramatma is there in the body of the greatest, most richest, most intelligent person, the most religious person. At the same time, it's also there in a worm's body. So there's no difference. Paramatma makes no distinction. And Paramatma also notes down each and every action. So when you're burning down an ant, you should also see that there's a God that resides in him. A temple is what? Aditri, according to you, what is a temple? A short definition of what do you think a temple is?
A temple,
Yeah,
a place for love, devotion.
love and devotion. Is it fair to say, Abhishek, that a temple is where God is installed?
It's not that fair because it should be explained a little bit more. It's
Yeah,
not
but
only about,
if I was to simply explain it, temple
yeah, you
is,
can say
yeah,
that, yeah, the
God is
place where
installed
we
over
can,
there, right? Place where
yeah,
God
where we
resides.
can find them. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So temple is basically a place where God resides. So if we see, God is also residing between us. A lot of you might have heard this phrase, your body is a temple. Why do people say that? Because God as Paramatma resides over there. So if
Besides
you
inside
see
the,
in Hindu culture or in Indian culture, at least people do namaste. What does namaste means? That the Paramatma inside, मैं उसको नमन कर रहा हूँ. I am bowing down to the Lord inside you. You see God in everybody. So that's why we bow our hand down like that. So we should see God in every animal, every insect. Now, a lot of people say that, oh, what about insects? I kill so many insects like that. Now, what Prabhupada used to say is that insect, unless it's directly harming you, directly attacking you, like for example, a snake or something, you should kill, because a snake, if you don't kill, the snake will bite 10 more people, and it will cause more damage. So even if you see, there are other instances also where sages would purposely kill snakes, or you would see kings used to go into the forest and hunt predators. Why? Because there will be a lot of sadhus, a lot of brahmins who used to be performing their ritual activities, and these predators would attack them and kill them. So kshatriyas were meant for protection of brahmanas. So they used to go to the forest and only kill these predator type animals. It's not like they would simply kill each and every animal and eat their meat. It's not like that. This is what is happening in current day society. So we should see that there's God in everything. So Prabhupada, what he used to say is, unless an animal is directly attacking you, you should leave them. I mean, you should kill them, but unless if it's not necessary, you should let them go. So for example, let's say like what happened was, there was a cockroach inside, and naturally in Prabhupada's room there was a cockroach that had come in, and naturally when people see cockroach, they bring out the slippers and they try to kill the cockroach. Prabhupada, what he did was, he picked up the cockroach in a paper and he just threw it outside, so the cockroach is free to go. The cockroach is not directly harming you, and if you're killing it, you're just unnecessarily killing it. So that is an extreme example, but we should get the point, because even if you're killing any entity, there is some karma involved. Material life means there is karma. Even while we're breathing, we're killing so many germs and bacteria. There is karma to that, but we in Kali Yuga, all this is not taken so importantly, because there are material life means only karma. That's why it's so difficult to get out of this material world. You're constantly stuck over here. That's why we should focus on devotional life so much. We should work on bhakti, because bhakti is actually enabling us to get out of this material bondage. Otherwise, we keep on doing karma, and based on our karma, we get a body after a body. So we should see that God is, if a body is a temple, God resides in everything. God resides in everybody. So we should treat everybody with an equal vision. That does not mean we treat everything equally. We treat them based on what they deserve. Like God treats them how on based on what they deserve. Not that you can do anything and you expect that, oh, God will be equal to me. It's not like that. You need to have qualification. You need to deserve it. So that is important to realize. Now, what it's trying to say over here is the soul, the Atma and the Paramatma, the super soul. Paramatma is Krishna, soul is us, the consciousness that's living inside this body. So both of them are equal in quantity, but not equal in quantity. How can we see this? For example, if I pick up some, like I went to Mahakumbh, I brought some water from the Triveni Sangam. Now, if I do throw a little bit water, I cannot go around and say that I did Ganga Snan, because the quantity of river Ganga is much larger, and that is just a few drops. Even though quality is the same, that is the same Ganges water, it's got the same mineral
Do you
composition
still
as
have it?
Ganges. Sorry?
Do you still have it?
No, it got over. I gave it to too many people. But yeah, quality is the same, quantity is much different. Similarly, that is what is the difference between Atma and Paramatma. Both of them are of the same spiritual quality. Like I said, it's part of God's superior energy. So quality, there's both the same, but quantity is much different, because this individual soul, this Atma is only, so Aditri's soul is only in Aditri's body. Abhishek's soul is only in Abhishek's body. Priya and Samiksha's soul is only in their body. But Krishna is in everybody's body. Krishna is in Abhishek's body, Aditri's body, Samiksha's body, Priya's body, my body, the dog's body. Everybody, Krishna resides. Krishna does not make any distinction that, oh, this is a worm, so I won't enter and all. Krishna is there, because spiritual is different from, it is uncontaminated, it's unaffected by material. So that's why he's transcendental. That's what the word transcendental means. Transcendental means what? Beyond material nature. So God is always, Krishna's entire body is transcendental. So he exists everywhere and in everything. He's present in each and every body. So that's why a Krishna conscious person has full knowledge knowledge of this. He knows that God is in everything, Krishna is in everything. He is truly learned. Why is truly learned given? Because a lot of false learned fools are trying to misguide you. They will try to preach big things. Oh, equality for all, peace for all. But they will not, they will start eating non-veg, then you'll start eating meat. Then where is your equality? A person who's in true knowledge will realize equality means that the same animal soul and my soul is all the same. We should not make distinctions again. Hence, we will be compassionate towards all living beings. We will not make any distinctions. So that is what is truly learned. Anybody who's truly learned in real knowledge, he will have equal vision. So the similar characteristics of soul and super soul are both conscious, eternal, and blissful. So the soul or God's quality is described as Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means truth. It is all truthful. So Chit means eternal, and Ananda means blissful. So God's body is full of knowledge, eternal and blissful. If we see everything which is matter is all the opposite of it. Like this body, for example, we first of all it is asat. Asat, why? Because we believe that we are this body, or we think, oh, this is a African body, this is American, this that. But we start believing we are the body. But even that body is false. You know why? Because eventually it degrades, it dies out. Second is chit, which means eternal. This body is not eternal. This body is temporary. We are born once. Right now, also, as you're breathing, you're going close to the grave, like they say. With each breath, you're getting closer to death. This body is losing life over and over every second. So this body is temporary. One day, everybody has to lose their body. And Ananda, we think that we are very happy in this material world, but this material world is called Dukkhalyam Ashwashatam. Why? Dukkhalyam Ashwashatam means a temporary place full of miseries. This everything in this world is temporary. Relationships that you have over here, the joy that you have over here, this body that you have over here, everything is very temporary. Everything is on a lease period, on a rent period. You have this for some time, then you have to give it up. It will go back to Mother Earth. This body came from these five elements and it will go back to five elements only. So we must realize this. So this body and this life in this material world is the opposite of the nature of God. So God is truth, all truth, eternal and blissful. This body is temporary, false, and also not blissful. It's in misery. So that is the difference. But the soul, so the real Abhishek, the real Aditri, the real Samiksha and Priya, they are actually very blissful. That the soul's natural. That's why we'll see as human beings, we always are looking for pleasure. Why? Because the soul's natural position is to be blissful, to be happy, to be always enjoying. But we try to enjoy in the wrong way. We try to enjoy with matter. Hence, we are suffering. So we are looking for enjoyment because the soul's natural position is to enjoy, but we are looking for it in the wrong places. We are looking for it in matter. Hence, we are always in distress and misery. So that is the difference between the individual soul. The difference is that the individual soul is conscious within limited jurisdiction of the body, whereas super soul is conscious of all bodies. So Krishna or the Paramatma knows what is going on in your mind, my mind, everything, and he based on your desires and requirements, he makes the order of nature in such a way that it will give you what you are desiring. So person who's doing bhakti and is really looking to learn more about Krishna, advance in Krishna consciousness, God will make arrangements like that. So many times it's happened that I used to sit for a Gita class or some sort of class when Prabhuji used to be speaking. I used to sit for that class, and whatever doubts I would have in my mind, I would see somebody else sitting in that class would automatically ask. Like supposing I had 10 doubts in my mind, somebody or the other would ask those questions, and eventually all the questions that I had would be answered through somebody else. And once I asked Prabhuji that what is this? Why is this? Is this some magic? What is this going on? He said that is Paramatma. Paramatma knows your intentions, knows your desires, and he makes situations according to that. So that is Krishna. Krishna knows he knows what the living being is thinking, and based on that, he is making situations to align with that. So Krishna is not only aware of your own, like we are just aware of our body. Our consciousness is limited to this body, but Krishna's consciousness is for every living, every entity, every plant, every animal. Krishna knows what's going on in their mind, what their desires are. So we can imagine how, what is the power of Krishna, and he's thinking so much. Now I would like to conclude by saying that, so I hope this made sense. Vidyā-vinaya-sampanne, so a person who's with education and of good character, gentle, sampanne, fully equipped, brahmana, fully equipped brahmana. He sees that a fully equipped brahmana, a cow, a elephant, and a dog, and a dog eater, all in the same vision, with equal vision. So that's what we see, that a person who's in God consciousness will see all these beings, all living entities in the same vision. And that is the why he'll be so compassionate. He can actually be beneficial to society. In today's time, the biggest reason of suffering is because of this false identity of God consciousness, because we have lost contact with God. We think that we are this body, and that's why there's so many wars going on today. If we see like this Israel Palestine war, you know how many people died in this war? Over 100. So there were like 50,000 recorded casualties, 100,000 people injured, and these are just the ones recorded. So the numbers could be much more. So we can see so many deaths happening, so many young children killed, so many animals killed, so many plants. A bomb falls, it eradicates every living entity in that. So we can see how heartless and cruel human beings have become. Why? Simply because they are not able to see everybody with equal vision. They're not able to see the spirit soul, the Atma and the Paramatma in them. They're just simply seeing that I am Israel, I am he is Palestine, we are enemies. We can similarly see in Russia, Ukraine, so many soldiers, 50,000 soldiers have died by now, and it's still going on. Why? Because you say that, oh, this is a Russian body person, this is Ukraine body person. And when we are in this bodily conception of life, it's equal to being like an animal. And an animal won't use its intelligence, it will simply do more acts and cause sin. And whatever karma you do, karma means action. Whatever action you do, based on that you get some sort of reaction. So simply we are stuck in the cycle of karma. We are doing action and getting reaction. If we do bad action, we are getting a sinful life, we're getting a animalistic life. If you're doing good action, we get a human life. But we're stuck in this loop of action and reaction, and the only way to break it is to see Krishna, to understand Krishna. When we see Krishna in everything, we see that Krishna is actually the seed giving father of everything, then we come back to our real identity. And that's why it's so important actually to get people to realize, get people to become God consciousness, get people to the level of God consciousness. Because when their heart is clean and heart is purified, only then they can actually help out in society. So with that, I would like to conclude the class. We'll go on to questions. Other three, yes, you had some question.
I think I sent you in private message as well.
Yep. So I was
Um,
going to read that. So you want me to read it, or do you have a different question as well?
Maybe you can answer that in later
Okay.
on. I
Yeah.
have a different question too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a question. This one that I'm gonna say. It's
Yeah.
like Prahlada Maharaj. He also saw that divinity in everyone. That's why he was like protected, right? Because that Paramatma aspect was
Yeah.
protecting him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after, like um, some of the questions maybe if we have time.
Yeah.
The one that I asked
No, no.
in.
So your Prahlad question I didn't understand. Can you say that again?
Yeah, like he. But the question is like it's not a question.
Uh,
It's just that I'm saying.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he used to see divinity in everything. So
Correct.
because of that, that Paramatma was protecting him, right?
Correct. Prahlad's story is also a little bit different. It's partially true, but Prahlad also from childhood was a very great devotee of the Lord. So from very young age, he used to go to his school and he used to preach to his other friends that you should chant Hare Krishna and be a devotee of the Lord. And even, yeah, he used to technically he know the real truth of life. He knew that we are all part and parcel of Krishna, and our job is to serve Krishna. And he used to see divinity in everything. That is correct. And Krishna also protected him, because from a very young age he was completely surrendered to Krishna. So even when Hiranyakashipu, his father, used to try to attack him by throwing him in a snake pit or trying to burn him, he used to simply surrender onto Krishna, and he was so devoted to Krishna that Krishna used to protect him in some way or the other. Finally, when Hiranyakashipu was trying to kill Prahlad, he was asking Prahlad that where is your God? So he said, God is everywhere. He's in this tree, he's in this pillar, he's in this animal. God is everywhere. And then when Hiranyakashipu, to mock Prahlad, said, oh, is he in this pillar? He said, yes, of course. He's the second he broke it, Narasimha Dev came out and he tore apart that. So yes, that is, Lord always reciprocates, especially more with his devotees. So God has, so we might say that if God is equal to everybody, why is he showing special favor to devotees? So just take this example. For example, there is a father who brings lot of, like, he is going on a trip, and he asks his five daughters that what do you want from this trip. If somebody says that, oh, I want a golden necklace, I want a new phone, I want a shoe, I want a bag. But there's one daughter who simply smiles, and instead of asking something, she says, oh, you're going on a trip, and she makes him a some she gives him a gift instead of asking for something. Wouldn't the father be extra happy with that kid? Even though they are all equal, he's equal to all of them are his kids. But a person whose actions are so pure, he will react also, reciprocate in that way. Similarly, devotees, when they completely surrender unto the Lord, all their actions is basically service to the Lord. Hence, the Lord shows special favor. So the Paramatma, he is silent to everybody. So Krishna says, Naham prakasha sarvasya mudoyam nabi janati mamitam ajam eva. Ajam avyayam. That means that I'm not present in front of everybody. I'm only present in front of my devotees. He shows you. And then if you see, if you're devoted to Krishna, he will actually guide you. There'll be a voice inside your heart that will guide you. Do this, do that. He'll actually bring situations to that. I've seen so many people, I'm practically experienced this, and I've seen so many people have experienced this. So that is Krishna, and that is Krishna consciousness. When you get to the level of God consciousness, Krishna guides you. Now we will go to your questions that you have sent on the group. So first, can this be asked in regards to Varna-based marriages, wherein some girls are allowed to marry so-called higher caste and not outer caste? Okay. Varna is different. So like I said, uh, even though we should see everybody as equal, the distinction is also made on, the appropriate distinction is also made as per necessary. Like I give an example, a, s- a seventh standard and a third standard kid, both of them will not be given the same books. Even though they're both students, they're based on their qualifications, based on what is appropriate for them, they will be given the books. So in Varna Ashrama, communities, at least in Vedic civilization, they used to be done for a particular reason. Because like you can't, there's a long history behind it. But at the same time, I mean, it was in best interest for a Kshatriya to get married in a family of Kshatriyas, a Brahmin to get married in a family of Kshatriyas, to be born in a family, married to a family of Brahmins. That was done. But however, that is not by simply birth. You see, in today's time, there is no real caste. All these castes are all false. All of us, everybody in this age is degraded. Everybody is as good as outcast only in this age, Kali Yuga. So all this in today's age is not applicable also. You can't say, oh, he's from a higher caste family and all that. It should not be given by birth. Caste system is never done by birth. It's not like you have a Brahmin surname or you have a Kshatriya surname, so you're different. So many people will see. I know a friend who's called Tripathi. Tripathi is a Brahmin surname. What does he do? He smokes, he drinks, he does all, he eats meat. So that's not Brahminical act. So we don't consider those people Brahmin. Brahmin is not by act, it's by your character. So we make distinction based on that. So marriages were usually done for more in the sense of producing offspring. Offspring should be, if they used to not mix, because then offspring was done very for different reasons. It used to be done so that, like, for a king, he would make sure that a king's daughter is married to a king only, so that it's a more also a political relationship. But that has nothing to do with caste. They used to also treat other people of other caste at the same. They say, like, for example, this caste system that you said, the Brahmin is compared to the head or the brain, the intelligence. The Kshatriya or the administrative class is the hand. The Vaishya is the stomach, and the Shudra is the leg. Now, how can we understand this? A Brahmin is the intelligent class of society. It actually guides society as to what you're supposed to do, what is the purpose of life. So if you know the purpose of life, all action and everything in society can be directed to that. So Brahman used to make people understand the purpose of life is understanding God. And then the Kshatriyas were meant for protecting. So they used to administer that, they are kings and army men. They used to protect these Brahmanas, protect the citizens. We need arms also. Simply with the intelligence you can't do everything. You need arms also. You need to do action also. Then there are Vaishyas who used to mostly be agriculturists. In today's time also, you can see, if there are no farmers left, nobody in this society can survive. Farmers are the most important people of society, because they are what who are bringing food to the table. So all roles are important. And similarly, Shudras are called legs. The Shudras are people who are slightly, they are not as intelligent as Brahmanas, so they are there to do laborious work. And even that is important, because if there is no legs, how, what is the point of having simply hands and stomach? You need legs also to move. The Shudras also move the society. So everybody is in a cycle. Everybody is helping out each other. A society needs all these four castes. And eventually, even Brahmanas used to see all of them with same vision. So a real person, a person with real knowledge, is to see that this person also has got Krishna in them, this person has got Krishna. Just their karma is giving them different types of caste and different types of body. A Brahmana is nothing but a person whose karma is related to education. Kshatriya's karma is related to administration. But just because their karma or their action is different, but the person is still, the essence of the person is still the same. They're all part and parcel of God. So we should all see them as the same. Can we cultivate compassion for victims while also understanding complex factors like childhood trauma, mental illness, societal failures that may have contributed creating person of such harm? Is it like that if we say they are a rapist? So again, it's not like we are saying, nobody is trying to say that, oh, we should excuse any crime that's done, and any, oh, this person had gone through some childhood trauma, so he's doing this action, and oh, God is so in everybody's heart, so we should treat him with equal vision. No, based on what is the qualifications are correct for him, they are given particular that. So for example, in a country, if the rules and regulations are given, everybody citizen, you are also so for example a citizen, the other person also a citizen, but the other person is going around committing crimes and breaking the law, and you, even though both of you are citizens, the person who's breaking the law will get different type of treatment. He will be sent to the prison house, he will be punished. But you might say that, oh, both of us are citizens, so why are we not treated equally? It's not only based on your you know the fact that your soul is based on your action, you're based on your qualification, based on what you deserve, you get. So if a rapist has done some degenerate act, they should get what they deserve. What is deserve? Punishment, chastisement. But at the same time, we should also understand what a god conscious person does in each situation is, he eventually, his goal is how to bring everybody to the state of god consciousness, whether be it an animal, whether it be a plant, or whether it be a degraded person, like for example a rapist also. So the punishment is required, but punishment is not simply to torture them to for our own satisfaction. The punishment should be in such a way that they are so traumatized from the punishment that they are, how can we eventually get this person who's so degraded, even a person so degraded, we can bring them to god consciousness, bring them to
Is
god.
it like their actions are bad, but then the divinity is still there?
Yes, divinity is always there. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, there's this very famous story in the Chaitanya Charitamrita about Jagai and Madai. Jagai and Madai were one of the most degraded, like literally they were the most degraded people in human society that could ever be born. They used to, on a daily basis, they used to rape women, they used to drink tons of alcohol, eat any animal, they used to slaughter animals and eat right over there. They used to, drink tons of alcohol, do all sorts of intoxication, always gamble, always, they used to hit old people, they used to burn, disturb brahmanas, urinate in their sacrificial areas. They were like the biggest. They, in fact, it is written. This was the exact words, that their actions were so bad that Yamraj was unable to keep note of their actions. So Yamraj is basically one who keeps notes of all these actions, and based on that, he punishes them or gives them the suitable requirement. So Yamraj also lost track of how many sins they have done. He said, Baba, these guys are doing so many sins that we have lost account of it. They were so sinful. But when they came in association with a real God conscious person, that was Nityananda Prabhu, who was the associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When you go to the temple, deities on the left, they are Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. So they were basically reincarnations of Krishna Balram. So they were going around village and village, spreading the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. They were doing kirtan, and they were getting everybody to chant this, because in this age, people are so degraded that the only way to protect them is by getting them to chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That's why we'll see even in Hare Krishna movement is all based on that. Prabhupada's movement is based on getting more and more people to chant Hare Krishna. Why? Because in this age, that is the only benediction that can save people. Otherwise, people's actions are already degraded. Right now, if you tell somebody that, oh, don't eat KFC, it's the same soul. They won't listen to you. They'll simply eat more and more. We are producing factories full of animals. So, nevertheless, when they were going through this one village, Nityanand Prabhu, who came to know that there was these two people called Jagai and Madai who were very degraded. They were always doing some chaos or the other, and he thought that if I give them God consciousness, then how great it would be that people so low, so pathetic in human society, even they were given the mercy of God, and they were given God consciousness. Then how motivating it would be for each and every person in this world, how easy it would be, and how inspiring it would be. So he went and he tried to get them to chant, and they were drunk, and they were very anti, what he was trying to say. So they took a liquor pot and they smashed it on his head, Nityanand Prabhu, and his head started bleeding. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was basically God incarnated, he came to know God always is very protective of his devotees. So when he knew somebody, such a great devotee like Nityanand Prabhu has been attacked, he got into his real form. He is basically God incarnated. So he took on his Vishnu form and he got out his chakra to behead them. Immediately he was about to kill them. And he was right about to kill them when Nityanand Prabhu said, Stop. In this incarnation, you have come. This is your most merciful incarnation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God's most merciful incarnation. There's nobody who's no incarnation who's as merciful as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he said that instead of killing them, why don't you give them mercy so that they can repent their actions and they can also become God conscious. And then because a devotee requested, and the Lord was so merciful, he gave them also that benediction. He gave them the love of God. Immediately they started repenting their sins, and from there on they became the greatest saints. So people who are so degraded, who are raping and eating and attacking and doing all these acts, even they were given the mercy of God. So what to speak of us? We are still much better than that. We are not raping people on daily basis. So punishment is required, because society cannot function if we see that. And in today's time, we cannot be like, oh, this person is also has God in him, so we shouldn't leave his actions. That is foolishness. Based on what they deserve, we should give them that. But the main idea and the main principle should be to bring them back to God. Not like, oh, this person rapes, so stone him, kill him, burn his family. That is wrong. You're not doing any society good. Society will be only done good when if everybody is brought to the state of God consciousness. The divinity is inside the rapist. It's just that because of contact of this material nature, he's come under ignorance. So he thinks he is the body, he sees the other person is also body, and he's doing all these crimes. But once he comes to a higher consciousness, like a dog, like a tiger will come and eat your entire family. If it's a man eater, it will come and eat your entire family. But that does not mean God does not exist in the tiger. It's just that the tiger is an animal consciousness. If the tiger, the same soul, is brought into human form, he can now understand. He has more intelligence. Like for example, so many times you'll see a child might, while in its childish nature, it might hit somebody, or might like shout or something like that. But it's not like the child is doing it with some bad intention. The child is just small. He doesn't know, he doesn't have enough knowledge. That's why he's doing this. Once they're given the proper consciousness, they, when the child, similar child, grows up, he doesn't cry on the floor or starts hitting random people and all that. He's now grown up and he's understood. So that is the eventual goal, is to get everybody to that point of real God realization. Only then that is the correct treatment for them. So punishment is required, but the main idea behind the punishment also should be, how can I eventually get this person to God consciousness? Then if we kill a mosquito, we should feel bad, right? Try to avoid. I can't lie, I also am guilty of killing mosquitoes sometimes, because if they're harming you and they're biting you, but try to avoid them much, as much as you can. But at the same time, being practical, if they're going to cause harm to you, then we need to do what is necessary, but don't unnecessarily kill. Like I know one person, those moths, right? They, whenever there's a light, the moths come and sit on that. So he saw a moth and he got scared of that moth and he killed the moth. And I said, why did you kill a moth? The moth is not harming you. It's not like the moth will come and bite you. It's just doing its thing. Unnecessarily killing is always, there's karma for that. Even killing like a mosquito, there's karma, but it's negligible because it's also biting you. But avoid, don't try to kill anyone. If you see a cockroach or something, now I've also started doing that. I just take a broom and I just put them outside, because a cockroach at the end of the day is not affecting me. If there's an animal that's directly attacking you, then yes, killing them is not considered wrong, because it's self-defense then. Killing an ant, all of that is wrong. It's harmless creature, don't try to kill them. Sometimes it creates confusion. Why should we go to temple if God is in a heart? So I can say, like, they say that underground, under the earth, there is so much water. So then why do we have a tap at home if there's water under the earth? Or there is water inside your body, 70% of your body is water. So why do you have to externally drink water? Does that make sense? God is there everywhere, but God, to be available to us in a way we can perceive, there is temple. Temple is made so that the atmosphere is such that it's more enhancing your God realization. God is everywhere. God is an insect also, but God is only readily available as, like, water is there all over. It's under your building also. But why is there a tap? So that it's readily available for you. So that's similar about God in the temple. Uh, let's see another one. When we meditate, is there some awareness which is just sees as Paramatma or Atma? That's a good question. So when we meditate, most meditations try to bring you to the realization of Atma, Brahman realization, where through meditative processes, your thoughts will slow down and your identification with the body goes down. So initially, for people who have no spirituality, pranayama and all of that, very good, because that slowly they start losing identification with the body. So that's why you see people who do pranayama, slowly their habits of constantly binge eating and sleeping late and all goes down, because now they're losing identification with the body. And your thoughts also slow down, so your mind also, you're losing identification. So eventually, when you practice yoga and all these pranayama, you will come to the realization of Atma, but it will only take you to that stage, reaching the awareness of Paramatma and supreme personality of Godhead, which is from whom Paramatma comes out. That only comes from bhakti yoga, devotional service. Bhakti yoga is able to have that loving relationship. When you have loving relationship with God, only then God is available to you. Just by simple meditation and practices, you'll know. That's why so many people are under this idea of impersonalism or mayavadi, which they think that I am this body, and I mean everything is this Atma. This whole world is artificial, and the real truth is this Atma, this soul. Everything is going into one soul, but that is false. This world is true. Krishna himself says that this is part of my material energy, and he is also showing us that he exists as Paramatma. So by bhakti yoga itself, we can the Paramatma becomes active. When we perform acts of devotional service, then the Lord sees, okay, now this person is his desires are intended towards understanding who the Paramatma is, understanding who I am, who God is, and then he makes him more readily available. So based on your surrender, he makes himself more available and more visible to you. All right. I think that answers all your questions. Do you have any other questions, Aditri?
No.
All right. So we'll end the class given the time.